Hey, welcome to another exciting episode of New Mexico Rides TV. Today we're in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we're in for a special treat. We're at the Custom Car Supernationals, and we've got over 200 cars in this show of every level of customization that you can think of. So let's go in now and check out some New Mexico rides. You know, you guys, someone has to put these kinds of programs on, and this one is certainly a very large and successful program with regard to hot rods here in Albuquerque. But not only is it in Albuquerque, but it's a national program, and we're fortunate enough to be here with Reggie Tibbetts, and he's one of the originators of this Supernationals Hot Rod Show.
The big show.
Big show, big show.
So we've been at it for 21 years doing this show, and
this is the 21st.
It's
That's
big for us. We were kidding around that we're finally legal. We're 21 now. We're 21 age, so it's a big deal for us this year. Doing this for this many years, the 21st year does give us some credibility. So we've been able to capture some of the top touring cars in the nation to come to the show this year.
You've got some beautiful vehicles here. One of those being this Hudson pickup truck behind us. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
When you started this process, you said you had a couple of other guys that you were working with. I mean, are you just a hot rod enthusiast?
Yeah, well, about 30 years ago, I started showing cars, and it sort of led to judging cars. And then while I was out judging cars at different events, I was watching promoters put on events and so forth. And we've always been kind of promoters or entrepreneurs, so we just started looking at how to develop a show. Well, back in the early 90s, the International Show Car Association actually dropped Albuquerque. And when they did, my partner and myself actually picked up a show and started a show here.
Right.
And we've developed it up to this year. So my partner's name is Matt Torres.
I see. Now we actually have a very large hot rod group of guys right here in the Albuquerque metro area, don't we? Now when you do this show, do you look at different cities like at the beginning of the year and say, here are the cities we're going to hit, or do you just have pretty much the same cities that you hit each year? How do you do that?
Well, the Supernationals has actually been developed out of Albuquerque, and it's Albuquerque show. It's a internationally respected show. We actually are connected with all the shows around the country, but we actually do just this one event in this particular city for this particular event. Okay. However, we travel around the country to upwards of about 10 major events every year.
Right.
And you have to go out and do the handshaking and work with the different owners of cars, the builders, and that's how we get all the good cars here around our show. We've developed good relationships with them over the last 10 or 20 years. And it, used to be in the early years we had to call on them to bring cars, but now we have producers and other people that are building cars, and they're calling on us to bring their cars to our shows.
That's nice. How many cars do you think you have this year?
Well, we can usually put about 200 vehicles in the Supernationals. We have 6 buildings, about 200 vehicles, about 170 of which are actually competing for about $10,000 in cash and award value.
I see. Nice. Do you have a favorite this year?
Well, I'm a Chevy guy. My business partner is a Mopar guy. But to be quite honest with you, we're both we love the custom type vehicles and so forth. Right. So I don't know that I have a favorite. We have such a wide variety of vehicles out here this year that are just tremendously cut up, like this vehicle here. When you look at this Hudson, they actually took this thing and they lengthened the body part of it, they shortened the bed, and then they actually shortened the front. Right. And so the old Hudsons had the big old nose that stuck right out there. Well, they proportionately made this car correct when they did it. But as you can see, obviously did a lot more work to it as well. But just a beautiful, outstanding. This is one of the top touring vehicles in the country right now.
Well, it certainly is a head turner that we have here today. Just, among several other vehicles here as well. You have everything from from local guys that are here and showing cars and even some of the beginning stages of what they're putting together, all the way up to this super custom situation that we have here. And
we're well represented by local clubs as well. So we have the Classic Chevy Club, we have the Corvette Club.
Right.
There's the Street Riders Club across the way in the other building, in one of our other buildings here. And we base the show on kind of a local, regional, and national flavor, and purposely have like a even mix of both throughout the whole year.
Right. I'll tell you what, if you guys haven't been to the Supernationals, it is absolutely a great family event to come. You can bring your kids, you can bring your wife, you can bring your grandmother, and it's really a great show to see. And Reggie, we just really appreciate the fact that you care enough to bring a show like this to Albuquerque and keep it here, and year after year, it's just a great success. And happy 21st birthday, by the way.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
Thanks. Hey, I'm here with Tim Divers, and Tim is the builder of this unbelievable rod behind us here. This is one of the most custom-looking cars that I've seen at this whole show. Tell us a little bit about it, Tim.
Well, it started out a car that we built like 20 years ago. So it was built in probably the mid-'80s for Cindy Warren, one of our customers. And she wanted kind of a new facelift, a new look. So we ended up only keeping about 20% of the original sheet metal and built the car really around the motor.
Boy, it's beautiful. What is the basis of the car to start with?
It started out a 39 Ford convertible.
Okay.
And then we kind of wanted the new age look, and then we bought a GT40. I call it GT40 because they used to call them GT40s, but they call it a GT supercar.
Right.
And we purchased one of the motors when the cars were just coming out, so we had to sign a bunch of papers, and we would sell it on eBay and that kind of thing. And the owner, I think, pulled some strings, Mike Warren, so we ended up getting one of their motors, and then we built the car kind of around that basis.
Nice. Now, obviously, this thing has an incredible amount of customization that has happened. I mean, it's been chopped, channeled.
It's really, if you look at the car, the fenders, we kept just parts of the front fenders, parts of the rear quarter panel, parts of the rear fenders, and then the rest of it was hand built. So the top's out of aluminum, the hood is out of aluminum, and the rest of the stuff is out of steel. So the running boards, doors were scratch built, the deck lids, cell plate, back pan, and that kind of stuff.
Right. Now, how often does this thing get driven?
We've been driving it just at like the car shows, like at Pleasanton, Good Guys, that kind of stuff. Hasn't got a lot of miles on it yet. I'd like to open it up a little bit, but I haven't had the chance yet.
What do you think it'll do if you open it up?
I don't know. It might be kind of scary, but it's not going to beat the supercar, but it's pretty powerful with that motor.
Right. Now, this thing has, I'm sure, four-wheel disc brakes.
Yeah, Willwood disc brakes. The wheels were designed. I had my brother do the drawings on the wheels. They're simulated or look like the cast wheels that came on the GT Supercar. So we went with a three-piece, built the actual wheels for us.
I see. Now, did you paint the car as well?
Yeah, the car, we do everything in-house. My brother does the upholstery in it, does just about everything too. And we have an in-house painter, Rich Thayer, did the paint work on it.
Right. And as Tim was saying, they did all the work on this. His business is Divers Street Rods, is
That's
that correct?
Yep.
In Washington.
Washington, yeah. We're in a little town called Startup.
Yeah? Well, I'll tell you what, I don't care if it's a little town or not, this car is unbelievable.
And I didn't pay him.
I hope you got a chance to see this thing in person because it is beautiful. I sure thank you for showing us this ride, and man, what amazing work you do, Tim.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks very much. Hey guys, I'm here with Bill Rule of the Christian Motorcycle Association Triple Cross Riders here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And Bill, tell us a little bit about your organization and then kind of go over this motorcycle that we're standing in front of as well.
All right, well, the Christian Motorcyclists Association is an international organization. Its focus is on service to the motorcycle community. We go out to secular rallies, shows like this show that we're at here, just to spread the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ and to be of a service to people. We have the Triple Cross Riders chapter, which is an East Mountain chapter located out of Sandia Park. It's made up of members from here in Albuquerque and out into the East Mountains, and we're looking to bring the good news of Jesus Christ all the way from Sandia Park to Tucumcari.
That's awesome.
Amen.
Tell us a little bit about this motorcycle here that we're standing in front of.
Well, this is called the Crown of Thorns. This was a motorcycle that was rebuilt by the president of our chapter's brother, and he built it up from a 2006 Yamaha 1600 Roadstar. Most of the people that come and look at it don't have any idea what it is. It's got the sound of thunder in it, which is the sound of the Lord coming down out of the heavens. Most people think it's got a Harley engine in it. It's been completely redone. It's lowered so far that I usually catch a little bit of asphalt when I'm taking a good corner. Yeah. But it's a beautiful ride. The purpose behind it is strictly ministry. We take it out because of the graphics on it. People ask us about it, where it got its name, what it's about, and I basically tell them that this is who I ride for. I ride for the Son.
That's great.
And so it's been a great tool for the ministry. Michael rides a trike. The one behind me belongs to the president of our organization, and he just purchased this one this year. Had the graphics done down at one of our runs in Las Cruces. Okay. And so, but we gather together on a monthly basis, and then we come together on weekends for events like this. We also have Bible studies once a month, and just try to promote Christ wherever we can and see what the community needs. Now, CMA International is an organization that runs every May what they call Run for the Sun, and that's a fundraising event to raise funds, and we raise over $4 million a year, and we give them out to the Jesus Film, Missionary Ventures, and Open Doors Ministries. Okay, so the Jesus Film is, of course, the film that's taken out around the world to introduce different language groups to Jesus Christ, so it's all translated into their language. Then Open Doors is a ministry that was started by Brother Andrew, and that's to take Bibles into countries that normally wouldn't allow Bibles to go in. That's how he started, smuggling in Bibles, and now takes them all over the world, getting them into outlying places. And then Missionary Ventures is one of our favorite missions because it actually takes vehicles to pastors. And so we take dirt bikes out to people that drive out into the mountain areas, to the villages. We've had boats donated. We take horses, donkeys, bicycles, but the majority of the missions money goes towards getting indigenous pastors a vehicle that will take them out into the outlying areas. So it's a great program. It's every year, the first weekend in May, and all of the CMAers internationally will be riding for the Sun. Kind of like they do when they do a marathon, you know, where you get sponsors. Well, that's what we do. We go out and we get sponsors, ask people to donate, and then that money is divided. 60% goes to those missions works, and then 40% goes to the work of CMA here in the United States and internationally.
Well, man, what a great ministry this is, Bill, and I appreciate you talking with us. You guys, what a neat way to serve, you know. Can you tell us if someone's interested in contacting you guys and would like to find out more about your organization, how would they reach you?
Well, they go to cma.usa.org, and that will pull up all the information on CMA. But you can also go to www.triplecrossriders, and that will pull up the local ministry here in town. And depending on where you are in the New Mexico region, there are a number of CMA chapters here throughout Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, Los Lunas, Santa Fe, Santa Cruz, Espanola, Farmington. So we're well represented in the state of New Mexico.
Great. Again, thank you for your time, Bill.
Thank you.
With the Christian Motorcyclist Association. Thank you, sir.
God bless you.
You know, one of the great things about this show here at the Supernationals is that you have some absolutely beautiful examples of some great vehicles, and I'm standing in front of one right now. It's a 1940 Ford truck, and this truck is owned and was created by Sig Montano. Sig, this is a beautiful truck. How long have you had this truck?
Well, we've had it for probably 10 or 12 years. It took several years to build it to this stage, so you know these things are a work in progress that take a long time.
I can see how something of this level would take quite a while to do. Now, did you build this truck with your son? You guys collaborated together on this, or what?
Well, I actually have two sons, Brian and Trent, and both of them have been involved with me in this project. And Brian principally because he's the guy who does all the shows for us and everything. And Trent, of course, he has his own job and own career. But the three of us enjoyed as a family. A family affair, and what we do is it kind of brings us three together, and you know, as adults, it's a lot of fun to do things with your two sons. You know.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Now, you had said that you actually found this truck right here in Albuquerque. Is that correct?
Yes, I bought this from a fellow here in Albuquerque some years back. It was a little red Ford pickup, and everywhere I went with it, I said, "Oh, that looks like Charlie's truck." And I kept saying, "You know, I got to get rid of that business, because I bought it from a guy named Charlie, and he's a nice guy and everything."
Yeah.
So we decided to do a makeover on it, and before you know it, we were into it. So to the point where we had to make some decisions, and one of those decisions was whether we were going to drive it or not.
Right.
And when you reach that point, the decisions you make are far-reaching, because if you look underneath of this truck, you can see the detail work there. And the issue with that is you can't, once you get to that stage, you don't really want to drive it and mess up the paint and that kind of thing. So it really goes on and off a trailer and goes to shows and stuff. So it's really not a driver.
Tell us a little bit about some of the customization that you've done, and let's start with the engine. What did you do there?
Well, actually, the engine was built by a fellow here in Albuquerque. He and I were partners in a hot rod shop years ago, and he and my son Brian actually did a lot of the work on this truck. And the engine is basically a Chevrolet 350 small block, and of course it's bored and balanced and ported and you know everything, all the fancy stuff inside, and then finished it off with a 671 GMC blower with two 4-barrel carburetors on top. So it produces it's been dynoed at about 875 horsepower.
I believe that'd be just enough to light those rear wheels up without any problem, don't you?
You know, as a matter of fact, this morning when I was backing out of my driveway, I looked out there on the street and I saw this long strip of black rubber, and I'm thinking, I wasn't around when this truck got loaded Thursday. I'm just wondering. I got to check the tire wear and see if one of my sons didn't get a little aggressive.
There you go. Boys will be boys,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, I noticed you've got suicide doors going on. What other types of body modifications did you do here as well?
Very extensive. This truck is all steel, absolutely no fiberglass at all. It's all steel. We started out with, we chopped the top. It's got a real subtle chop, about 2.5 inches in the front and 2 inches in the back. The doors have been suicided. The hood has been pancaked and channeled. The body's been channeled throughout, but mostly the hood. I don't know if you remember old 40 Fords, they had a big old snout in the front, and they lifted up from the front. And I mean, they're real heavy, bulky looking things. So we kind of slimmed this one down a little bit. We made a one-piece front end. The hood and the fenders are all one piece, and it comes apart like that way. And then of course, the bed floor, we put a hinged floor in there with an aluminum billet aluminum floor, machined, and all the little tooling that goes with it, and it's just extensive body work. The tailgate is a swing-out tailgate.
Right.
Let's see what else.
You know, one of the things that I've noticed here, and it's a small thing, but I find it really interesting, and to me it's really attractive, is the fact that there's no welting in between your fender and the side of your bed here, but yet it's just a super clean looking application there. You've done phenomenal.
You know, in building these things, you know, it's a real trick, because these vehicles, when they were built, they were real rough.
Right.
They're you know, Henry Ford, he wasn't into. These were haulers, you know, and they're real rough. The doors didn't fit well, the hood didn't fit, nothing fit.
Yeah.
So as you can see, there's been a lot of extensive body work.
Right.
Matter of fact, in fitting all the pieces together, it's been taken apart and put back together like 6 or 7 times. All the pieces, the components were painted separately, fitted and taken apart and polished and everything, then put back together. So in the process, you know, we figured out that if we're going to be a winner, we need to make sure that the gaps, you know, around the doors and the fenders fit tightly and everything fits nicely.
Well, I'll tell you what, it is absolutely on the scale of a national performer. Personally, I expect this truck to win some awards. If you can see it in person, it is just phenomenal. It's just pristine. And Sig, I appreciate very much you taking the time to tell us a little bit about it. And boy, what a great example of the level of hot rodding that we have here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And good luck to you. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much. You know, I'd like to say that I hope we've represented our city and state well. This truck has been shown all over the West Coast. It's even been in Good Guys Truck of the Year competition. And for that matter, I should tell you, it's been to Europe twice. It's been in Sweden and Finland also. So I would tell the story, this truck here has got more boat miles on it than most cars have trailer miles.
That's pretty phenomenal.
Right.
So,
thank you again.
Yeah, thank you, Sig. Appreciate it. Hi, I'm here with Terry McDonald, owner of this beautiful 35 Ford here. And Terry is from Pueblo, Colorado. Terry, can you tell us a little bit about what you've done on this beautiful restoration?
Well, yes, I've been about 5.5 years in the preparation to build this car. It was a barnyard find in Pueblo. This car has been chopped, a wedge chop, 2.5 inches. The body has been sectioned 2.5 inches, and we've widened the rear fenders 2.5 inches. We have taken and set a third taillight in the car that is Ford strip, and they're all flush body as the taillights are.
And they're LED as well, correct?
They are all LED, turn lights in the mirrors and everything, so the car can be seen by other people on the streets. I don't want it dinged.
Right.
The engine and drivetrain in it is an 06 4.6 GT Mustang 5-speed automatic. It has got independent Hyatt front and rear suspension,
nice.
Inboard brakes in. The frame has been boxed, and all the cross members in it are chrome moly tubing.
Right.
All of the body, frame, mechanical work, and everything I did myself.
Right.
On this car, the wiring and so on was done by a young man by the name of Kevin Renzelman there in Pueblo. The paint, the final paint, I did the body work, but the final paint and so on was done by Perry and Terry Auto Body in Lakewood, Colorado. And it is a two-tone green. It's emerald green upper and sort of a mint foam pearl green on the bottom. The interior was done by Eddie Petestio of Eddie's Rods and Customs in Pueblo, and it's a two-tone, I guess it's sort of a cream leather and a light green suede inserts with all wool carpet in it.
That's beautiful, beautiful. Now, you said something earlier that caught my ear there. You said you've got a wedge chop.
Wedge chop.
Which essentially means you have higher in the back and you come down a
I
little
took
right
2.5
here,
out in the front, and by the time it got to back, there was only about 3/8 of an inch.
Okay.
Then likewise, the roof was filled in this, and we bought out of a 53 Olds 2-door hardtop, the top, which laid in, and then was welded in and finished, so it's got a solid top in it.
Nice.
The consoles on the inside of the car are all built. The upper one is wood overlaid with glass, fiberglass painted, and it's got the touch screen in there. All of the wiring, or all of the radio components, are behind the rear seat and hidden, and all of the electrical in this car has been moved from the engine compartment and dash to under the rear seat of the car.
Nice.
Used the Ford original computer, which we had to get burnt, and on Ford, wiring is no easy feat.
Right.
Thanks to Kevin Renzelman, he did a great job for me.
Excellent.
The painter on this that did the paint was Mike Galindo, and he is an employee of Perry and Terry Auto Body.
Okay. Now you've got, what's the term here? Shaved door handles? Is that correct?
The doors have been shaved and smiled where they were originally square in the back.
Right.
That done with the doors, and of course they're all power.
Right. So that operates with a remote.
With a remote, like if you're going to lock your car, one of the buttons opens the left door, the other opens the right door.
I see. Boy, this is just a fantastic job that has been done on this vehicle. This is pristine. It's a beautiful car, and just another great example of some of the awesome cars that we have here at the Supernationals. You need to come down and check it out. If you didn't get a chance to come this year, make sure you put it on your calendar for next year.
Yeah.
Thank you, Terry. Beautiful
Very good.
vehicle.
Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm here with Rudy Manini, and he's got a beautiful, beautiful 1932 Chevy four-door sedan. Rudy, how long did it take you to get this car in this pristine shape that it is?
Give or take 2 years.
Well, that's pretty quick, actually.
Right.
Now, is this an Albuquerque car for the most part? Or?
I picked it up in Albuquerque in
Okay.
a storage building.
And what kind of shape was it in when you
It
first
was
picked it
in
up?
pretty good shape for a stock vehicle. It was basically all there.
Right. Now, tell us a little bit about some of the things customization-wise that you've done to the car.
Well, I had Samuel Geen from Customizing Classics. He definitely took it all apart, naturally.
Right.
And then we put in a 5.3-liter aluminum Corvette engine, which is about almost 400 horsepower. And the transmission is a 4L70 aluminum transmission with a 9-inch Ford rear end with a 370 limited slip rear end in it. And then he basically reconditioned all the parts and naturally wired the holes in the fenders for the better highway tires.
Right.
And then we put a sunroof in it.
I noticed that.
And it came out, I think it came out excellent.
It is a very beautiful vehicle. What about the paint? Who did a local?
Samuel Geen painted it.
Okay.
And what it is basically a metallic gold mocha body with a metallic dark mocha fenders, and then the colors are reversed for the moldings.
Right. Now guys, I don't know if this comes off on camera, but this is a very unique color on this vehicle. That's one of the things that caught our eyes as we were walking by. But this is definitely one we're seeing in person. Now, what about the interior on the vehicle?
The interior, I had 2 or 3 different guys do the interior. Alvin Shore out of Bosque Farms did the seats and the dash, and then I had him do the tuck and roll on the running boards.
Right, right.
And then basically finish the trim out and everything.
Yeah, boy, it's a fine job they did. I noticed that you've got your customization extends to even underneath here. It's done out pretty fine.
I have a hide-it chassis underneath it, which is basically the frame and the rear end. The drive line are the only things that's not polished stainless. And then I had a guy build me a 16-gallon gas tank out of aluminum, and it's polished like a mirror.
Right.
So just something to get a little dirty and have to clean it every time you drive it.
Right, right. How often do you drive it?
Well, I haven't driven it much yet because I didn't want to have to go through a big deal trying to clean it up.
Right.
So I didn't have. Maybe I might have 15 to 20 miles on it right now.
Right. Now, how often do you plan on showing this vehicle?
Well, I probably plan on showing it locally as often as I can, and maybe out of town once or twice.
I see. Boy, it's a beautiful example, and just another situation here to tell you that this is a very diverse car show, and we've got some beautiful examples of some fine classic hot rods here, so you got to come out and check it out. I appreciate it, Rudy. Thanks very much.
You betcha.
Hey, thanks again for hanging with us today on New Mexico Rides TV. And we just want you to know that Matchbox car race that you saw, well, that was totally to benefit the Ronald McDonald House, and 100% of the proceeds made from that will go to benefit them. Also, we want to remind you to remember to check us out online at newmexicorides.tv. When you go there, you can see behind-the-scenes footage, you can see stuff that didn't make it on air, and you can also take a minute from the website to like us on Facebook. We'd really appreciate that very much. Anyway, we'll see you next time on New Mexico Rides.